everybody. I see that we're all getting situated and getting ourselves to where we feel comfortable, so go ahead and do that. I am Julia Tannehill, a RAP facilitator, and I am just so thrilled. I just wanted to take a moment to say that I'm just so thrilled that you all decided to take part in the RAP activity, the 2-day RAP group here at your youth camp. One housekeeping issue. First off, you'll notice that we're in a very high traffic area for our RAP group this year at youth camp. So if at any time that you run into a situation where you didn't hear something and you want me to repeat something, don't hesitate to ask. It will be absolutely my pleasure to let you re-listen, or whatever the word is, to what it is that I just said. So let me know anytime. And if you don't feel comfortable letting me know in front of everybody, that's okay too. Just let me know when we have a break and I will fill you in on any information that you might have missed. We are doing the 2-day RAP group here at youth camp. So as you know from your advisors, of course we're here for 5 days. So our RAP group here is Monday and Tuesday, and then throughout the rest of your week you'll be able to go and partake in the other activities designed to promote wellness here at the youth camp. So this is all kind of a really well blended program. So we're hoping that you'll be able to use some of the things that you've learned and be able to apply them in your other groups throughout the rest of the week. So I just wanted to get a feel for, and you can you don't have to participate. Participation is voluntary. We're going to go over safety contract. Let me go over the agenda before I get into the next thing. Sometimes my brain is 10 steps ahead of my body, so I'm going to apologize for that at the beginning here. I also want to say I'm going to be writing down some notes today up here on the board. So I learned this from a very wonderful woman, Gina Calhoun, who trained me about RAP and helped me to become a RAP facilitator. So one thing is that everything up on the board here is from A to Z. And so what that means is I might not always spell everything exactly the way that it's supposed to be spelled, but I'm going to do my very best to get all of your comments and information that you offer up here on the board. So everything is from A to Z. So let's discuss briefly just a little housekeeping issues, and then we'll go over the agenda, which is the first part of what we're doing today. So if you need to use the restroom at any time, just remember that to the building to your, well, it would be to your right, there are male and female restrooms over there, men and women, guys and gals, in that building over there. Or if you're on this side and you feel more comfortable going to that building on your left, then you can do that as well. We will be taking breaks throughout our time together. We're going to take a break after we go over our but we're going to be taking a break sometime around 11, okay, 11:30, because we're getting started here. The youth camp starts a little bit later than a typical school day. But if you need to use or get a drink, or you need anything prior to that time, just make sure that, and the camp counselors are here on your right and left. So just make sure that you let them know, so that we know that you're all here and accounted for and present, because safety is a very important concern to everybody here at the youth camp. So having that said, are there any questions about anything that I might not have covered in the housekeeping? Okay, right. So if you need to go to talk to one of your camp counselors, like if you had a scheduled camp counselor session to talk with them, one of them, and you need to go, just let one of the counselors that are here in our RAP group know. And if you are concerned about what you might have missed during that time period when you needed to go see your camp counselor, I'd be more than happy to fill you in on the break. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so in a little bit I'm going to give you a little bit more information about myself and what I love about RAP, and some of the 5 key concepts of RAP. and kind of what we're going to discuss. But we're going to be discussing the 5 key concepts. We're going to be discussing some issues that need attention, and we're also going to be discussing, we're going to introduce RAP and the Wellness Toolbox, and I'm going to show you some really cool ways that you could implement your Wellness Toolbox as opposed to writing it down if that's not really your thing. And as you can see in each one of your spots that we provided a 3-ring binder with some paper in it and some writing utensils there for you to be able to utilize during this training. And each one of the pages in your binder has already been labeled well for you, and we've left space for you to expand in each one of those sections. But just because we gave you that format doesn't mean that's the format that you have to use. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that's really important that we go over, and we're going to go over this at the beginning of each group, is that we're going to develop a safety contract for the group. And the reason that we develop a safety contract is because when we come to the group, we want to be able to feel safe in the environment, safe to share things that are personal in nature about us if we so choose, and safe to come up with some really good ideas that will help us to promote our wellness and work on if we ever would be in a crisis, or if we've ever been in a crisis, and share some insights. And to be able to do that, we need to be in a safe environment. So we're going to come up with some safety rules. So I will take some comments or some ideas from you, but I want to say first of all that participation is voluntary. So if you don't want to participate, you don't have to participate. So most youth I work with around your age really like that, that they don't have to participate if they don't want to. So on that note, if anybody wants to participate, it would be really helpful. We could come up with another point for our safety contract. What would help you to feel safe in this group? Okay, right. What we share here in group stays here in group. That's great. In my therapy world, we would call that confidentiality. What we say here in this group stays here in this group. Great point. That's excellent. What else would help you to feel safe? A great one that Carol Bailey Floyd taught us was no horror stories. And what I mean by that is there's sometimes things that we might share that might trigger somebody else based on maybe something they experienced in their past. So while it's okay to share, like, for example, I myself had a period of postpartum depression when I had my my youngest child. So it's okay to share that specific thing, but to go into the really horrific details of it might be traumatizing to others. How do we feel about no horror stories? Just by a nod or show of hands. Okay, so we're okay with that one. Awesome. Okay, what else would help us to feel good and safe and well while we're in this group? Respect. Yes, respect. That's a great suggestion. Listen. Fantastic. You guys are really on your A game today. Okay, so we have listen. Okay, what else? Okay, well, one that I really like is that we hold each other in an unconditional, positive, high regard. That means everybody here is worth something, and everybody here should be able to have a voice and say what they feel helps them to feel well, and what they feel like that they should say. So unconditional positive high regard. How do we feel about that rule? We're good? Okay. And does everybody understand what that means? Okay, good. Remember, A to Z. Okay? We still have we can always go on to a second sheet if we need to, so don't hesitate to give me some more examples, because it's always good that we feel safe here in this group. Group decision. Okay, so we're all going to we want to do group decision on things. Okay, so group decision. Okay. Focus on wellness. Wow, that's a great one. Okay, we're going to focus on wellness. That's fantastic. Okay. So what do you mean by that, focus on wellness? Right. The things that we pick that help us to feel well should be things that are safe and good for us to do, that will help improve our situation, as opposed to cause us maybe to go into a crisis or have something happen. Fantastic. Boy, I had no doubts in this group whatsoever. Seriously, I have worked with a lot of 15, 16, 17-year-olds, such as yourselves, and I think that you're all very, so far what I've found, teaching early college programs and working with individuals at different group homes and the like, is that you really have some really valuable, really mature insights about how to go about things. Okay, so we should come up with a name for our group. What do we think we should call it? Youth Camp Rocks. Okay, well, group decision, Youth Camp Rocks. Okay. Right, rocks are like a foundation. That's good. Youth Camp Rocks. Okay, so we have our rules. So at the beginning of any session, at any time we feel like we need to go back to those, make any additions, any revisions to them, subtractions, anything like that, that we'll go back to them as needed, okay? So don't hesitate to say, Julie, I'd like to go back to the group rules, because we absolutely can do that. Okay. So, keeping with our time frame, I want to give you a little bit of insight into what the key concepts are, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my RAP journey so that you can see or maybe better understand why it is that I'm standing up here in front of you, as opposed to probably being any of the hundreds of places that I could be otherwise today. So the 5 key concepts are hope, personal responsibility, support, self-advocacy, and education. Okay, and this is what RAP is built around. Like, these are the 5 key concepts of RAP. RAP is not the wrap in paper, you know, you wrap a gift, and it's not like RAP. Okay, RAP is a wellness recovery action plan. Okay, so I get that a lot, and I actually had a gentleman at one of my residencies for my doctorate that I'm currently working on. I actually had him say to me, "RAP, you're working on RAP? Is that wrapping paper, or is it like RAP?" And he was like in his 60s. You guys probably would have got a kick out of that. But he really didn't know, and so that was an opportunity for me to share with him the 5 key concepts. So, why do I love RAP? What had me standing here at youth camp in front of you all today? Well, I didn't come into knowing about RAP until I was in my doctoral program looking for a research project. So RAP hasn't always been a part of my life, and even though, like, I look super young, I haven't always been 34. Okay, I've been 15 and 16, I've been 7 and 8, and obviously I've been 0. Okay, so my life brought me to rap. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of challenges in my life just because of not having the most money. I have in my family. I have 5 siblings. They're wonderful. And I have 2 wonderful parents. And life wasn't always so easy. Being that there were so many kids in my family, my dad was the only one that worked, we didn't always have money for everything that we needed. And we didn't always have the most fashionable clothes, or these Nintendo DS's and the iPods and all those great things. So whenever we were growing up, we didn't have those things, and so since we didn't have those things, we had to rely a lot on each other. And also, when, as some of you may know, when you don't have those things, a lot of times people are rough on you in school. So I was absolutely bullied, and it was absolutely a struggle. And as I grew up, I had to find hope, to get through it. I had to educate myself on how to get through it. I used my family as supports. I had to stand up for myself, which at times was really, really difficult. And I had to take responsibility. I had to take responsibility for my part in the things that were happening. So as I got older, I was able to do these, and I moved, and that was crucial in my success. And I was able to evolve into this person that I am now, with the college degree, the family, the wonderful children, the husband. But if I would have had rap in my life would have been so much easier. And I am here today to help each and every one of you be able to not struggle like I did, to try to figure out what worked for me, who were my supports. I mean, sometimes that was easy because it was my siblings, or my parents, or my one best friend who stood up for me no matter what. But sometimes it was a real struggle. And I struggled, absolutely struggled. And when I found rap through my research, it changed my life. So, since it was a life-changing event for me, I want to just give you a little insight into that. Even though I'm up here and it seems like I have it all together, and I've already shared with you about the struggles that I had to go through as a child and as a teenager to get to where I am, there were also other struggles that I had that I didn't really acknowledge and didn't really know what right steps to take for them. I, off and on, growing up, and I didn't know, struggled with anxiety and depression. And I didn't go see a therapist. I didn't know that that was a choice that you could pick. I didn't know that I could go talk to my school guidance counselor about things. And I definitely, since we didn't have a lot of money, I definitely didn't go to very many youth camps. So being that happened to me, I don't want to say it happened to me. These are just things that went through, as I went through life, that I experienced. And as I got older, I still had to keep educating myself, so I decided that I was going to go to school and I was going to learn how to be an actress. So I wasn't always, I like performing, but that was what I wanted to be. And that was, me turned inward to myself to try to compensate for what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. So I went to school, and I worked at a local radio station. It just really wasn't working for me. So I heard an ad on the radio coincidentally, and I was able to go to a job fair where I was introduced to the idea of working at children and youth. And sometimes you hear horror stories about children and youth services and you think, children and youth, it's really not as bad as you might think. And if you have any questions on the break, I could absolutely tell you more about it. But I worked at children and youth for about 1.5 years. And in that time working at children and youth, I found something I hadn't found before, that I loved helping children, teenagers, and families, grandparents, aunts, uncles, like the whole gamut of family. Children and teens, my passion. So from there, I decided to go get my master's degree. It seemed like the logical choice. I wanted to educate myself because I found that education was working for me and it was giving me hope. And I was gaining all these supports by doing it. And I was able to take personal responsibility and say, I did that or I didn't do that. So I went to master's school and I got my master's degree at the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown in social work, which is not what my bachelor's degree is in, it's in communications. If you want to talk about that on the break, about when you go to college, how you can go about changing if you change your mind. Because a lot of times right now everybody's saying to you, what are you going to be when you grow up? I thought I knew. I still love getting up in front of a crowd though, so I do. At any rate, so I went to University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. I got my social work degree, my master's, and then I went on to be licensed as a social worker in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. After that, I worked at a residential treatment facility for children and adolescents around your age with mental health concerns. I also worked at an outpatient where people came in with mental health concerns and I helped them talk through those. I have worked at a residential group home for juvenile delinquents with anger management and drug and alcohol problems. Let's see, I have worked as a therapeutic support staff in the school where I've went to the school and I've worked with the kiddos with mental health concerns. They're one-on-one at the school. I've also been the supervisor of that position where I oversaw the treatment for those children. And at that time is when I decided, hey, I know I'm learning, educating myself so much about this. I want to, and I'm helping people, but I want to help more people than I can just reach by myself. So I decided, I'm going to go for my doctorate in educational psychology. So I did, and that's what I'm currently studying, and that's what brought me to RAP. I would have never imagined that I would be standing in front of such a wonderful group of youth here today at youth camp, but I am so thankful that I am. I came to RAP because it was a research option and I just wanted to be a better researcher with more ideas on how to do things. And what I found is a way of life. I have my own RAP. I use it every day. I've written it down, but I don't have to look at it all the time. It's up here. I don't want you all to struggle. I want you to have wellness. I want you, when you do have down times in your life, I want you to be able to recover from those and come out stronger and more educated, have more hope, be able to take responsibility for what it is that you want to do, and stand up for yourself. Because when you learn to do those things, you will have one of the greatest gifts that anybody can give you.